Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. This is the first podcast for counsellors that just don't align with the traditional approaches to business and that want to use their spiritual gifts, talents, and interests to create, you guessed it, a private practice with soul. So, look, leave it to me to provide you with everything you need, including strategies that you can use to increase your income, reduce your workload, and of course, increase inquiries and referrals to your beautiful soul-led private practice. I love it so much. If you haven't done it already, grab your journal, grab your pen, and let's begin. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I'm here with Buddy, the Wonder Dog. He's a Cavalier Cross Maltese. And Buddy's celebrating 14 weeks on the planet today, which is kind of a big deal. Not that we've done anything yet to celebrate, but it's very possible he could get some liver treats if he's a good boy later on today. And he's in my arms at the moment having a little snuggle because, yes, he is a baby. But anyway, he's still got his little rain jacket on because I had him outside trying to toilet train him, and he was shivering. So he came back inside and we popped his little rain jacket on. He didn't do anything outside, but he came inside and didn't want to take his jacket off. So he's still got it on. So if you can hear some rustling, that's all it is. And if you hear some groaning, it's just Buddy. He's in my arms as he's having a little snuggle and a sleep. So that's sort of setting the context for today, I think. Before I get started on today's episode, which is really an important one and one that I think hopefully you'll find useful and helpful for your private practice, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting me and thank you so much for being so amazing. Like, we've had tens of thousands of downloads now of this podcast, and every single day I get messages from people saying that they've been listening for years, and it warms my heart so much because you never know who's listening to these things. It's just me in my study with Buddy and the computer, my Mac and my little blue Yeti microphone, and I just have no idea who's listening. So it's really lovely to get that feedback. So thank you so much. Okay, so let's get on with the show. You might want to grab your podcast journal if you can. If not, that's cool. If you're driving, that's okay. Just listen and reflect as you go along. But for those that live in Australia, yesterday was, I feel, kind of a big day. It was a day of recognition in Australia for our returned Vietnam vets. Now, I know in the past there's been a lot of controversy around things like celebrating the Defence Force, but I am somebody who does celebrate the Defence Force. I had uncles and grandfathers and great-grandfathers that did things like around the Second World War, like they fought for our country, and they really put themselves at so much risk, and so did their wives. Like, one of them was an army nurse, and so she went over and she was involved in all of that as well. But yesterday, I didn't have anybody in my family that went to Vietnam, but I know of people who do, or who did rather. And I also know of people who are in the Defence Force now and serving. In fact, some of my old uni teachers are in the Army Reserves, and some of the Army Reserves are actually overseas at the moment doing a little bit of work. So I am super thankful that we have a Defence Force, and I'm super thankful for these brave, souls that go out and risk everything just so that Buddy and I can stay here and talk to you on podcasts and things like that. Like, to me, the Defence Force have no idea about the impact that they make on people's lives that are just everyday Australians like us. But the reason that I want to talk about this is because regardless of what your political views are about Australia being, having its own Defence Force and things like that and participating in wars, what I want to speak to that's relevant to us is what happens to our loved ones when they do return, or even people who you don't know. Maybe you don't know anybody who's been involved in a war or something like that. But I want you to take a moment to think about what it's like for them when they return. So, some of the things that happen is when people are away, life in Australia changes and changes dramatically, Things happen like partners leave, families break up, all that. There's financial stress, financial duress and pressure, all those kinds of things. Jobs change. I was talking to somebody who had been serving, and when she returned, she was saying that she was in first year uni and she was studying psychology. And now when she returned, people were moving into their fourth year and stuff like that, and she felt so left behind. But also think about the mental health trauma, not only with readjusting to life in Australia after life in another country where they might have been exposed to traumatic events and incidents. Think about the mental health of many of the returning vets, okay? Even vets that go out today come back often with some kind of form of anxiety or depression, or maybe even adjustment disorder and things like that. And those conditions have a knock-on effect, right? It makes it really hard for them to get work. It makes it really hard for them to function in day-to-day life. It makes it really hard for them to have relationships that are thriving and flourishing. All those kinds of things. Now, I know that you know all of this already, and I'm not sharing with you anything that's new. But the thing that I think is kind of interesting is that after seeing the Vietnam vets ceremonies and stuff like that yesterday, it prompted me to go online and have a little bit of a research around mental health and vets. And I was surprised to see that it's taking Vietnam vets around, on average, and it varies, but on average around 6 to 12 weeks, depending on where they're located around Australia, to be able to access health services from a psychologist or a social worker. So I thought that was really interesting. And I think it's really interesting if I put my advocacy hat on for counsellors. I think it's really interesting for us because it shows us that there's a huge need, which we are aware of, but there's huge potential there for someone like ACA or PACFA to, do some advocacy work for us around working with Vietnam vets. Now, one of the bugbears, and I remember this from when I was a psychologist as well, is the rate of pay for psychologists and social workers is really low under the vet scheme. It's like it makes it almost like not worth doing. And unfortunately, what's been happening is a lot of people in private practice, psychologists and social workers, who service this cohort of return servicemen and women, are perhaps making other choices around who they want to help or who they're going to help, unless like it's their niche. And as I said, of course, there are always exceptions to the rules. But because the pay is so low, they're choosing to work with funding bodies that are going to pay a little bit more, like Medicare with its rebates, like NDIS and things like that. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, does it? If you're running a business and your business needs to turn over X amount of dollars, it's much easier to do that if you're working with clients who you get paid more money to see for essentially the same work. So I understand how it's come about, and I understand that, I'm not saying counsellors should work for nothing. That's not my point. My point is there's definitely a need. There is definitely, because it's not only Vietnam vets, it's everyone. Okay, it's young people who are going off now as well, and they come back and they need help and support too, and they're entitled to get it, but they're being encouraged to go through Medicare rather than vets and all this sort of jazz. Anyway, I would just love for you to think about, the challenges that maybe this cohort might be working with, and whether or not it's something you could help with. Because if you could, maybe there might be an opportunity for you to fill your diary with this demographic of client, which would be wonderful for them because it would mean they could get help sooner, and it'd be wonderful for you. So it's only an idea, but there's definitely a massive gap in the market at the moment, and I don't know if it's going to get any better. I don't know if it'll get any better soon, but it's certainly an opportunity, and counsellors could absolutely step into this space. I think it'll be a wonderful way for counsellors to get some more recognition for the work that they do. There are different places that you can go to register as a counsellor and say that you're willing to do vets work. And if you're interested, let me know and I can get you the contact details for those places. But as I said, if you're looking and you're interested in things like, now, Vietnam vets might not be your demographic, but maybe your demographic is trauma. Well, then you could absolutely market to vets moving forward. If your demographic is anxiety or PTSD or depression or adjustment disorder or things like that, or relationships or whatever, then consider including this cohort into your marketing, because you just never know. You just never know. It could be a wonderful way for you to help people and build your practice, as I was sort of saying there. So that's one opportunity that I see at the moment. The other opportunity that I'm seeing that I think would be wonderful for counsellors to explore is adult diagnosis of things like ADHD and even autism. I mean, I was an adult when I got diagnosed, and I guess back in the day my condition would have been Asperger's, but there's not much support around for adults. When I say that, I mean there's not much professional support from counsellors, psychologists or social workers. So this is definitely an area that is increasing. We're seeing increasing diagnoses over the last 12 months, and they're trending upwards. So there's definitely going to be opportunities in the marketplace if it's an area that you're interested in working with. You would need to go and get some more PD unless you had some PD training in it already, to sort of support you and make sure that you felt competent enough to support clients. But I think it could be another boom area over the next, say, 24 to 36 months. So if you wanted to pivot your practice or maybe add an additional arm onto your practice, I don't think you would be struggling for clients. The other thing the other trend that I see at the moment is definitely around a body, what do I want to call it? I want to say like embracing your body. I've forgotten the technical term. I've forgotten the words, but like body acceptance, that kind of stuff. So years ago we had a boom in psychology anyway around weight management and healthy lifestyles and stuff like that, but now it's less about losing weight and it's more about accepting where you're at. And I can absolutely relate to that, because I was telling my friend Kim the other day, like I've stopped, like I was taking medicine recently for the last 7 or 8 months to support me, because as some of you know, I think I mentioned it here before anyway, like I put on a lot of weight with COVID, but also menopause. So anyway, and I was telling Kim, like, I've stopped taking that now, and I've just decided, like, I'm just going to accept this in my body, and I'm just going to love it for everything that she does for me, everything that she is, everything that she gives me every day. I think my body's amazing. My heart keeps pumping. I'm so worried sometimes that if I stop to think about that, maybe it will stop. But my heart keeps pumping and I keep making new skin, and I'm amazed at my brain and how that works when it's working well. And, I'm amazed that I breathe without even thinking about it. And I really have so much gratitude for this body of mine, and I really have so much gratitude for its ability to heal itself. I know this could sound really funny, but Even since I've had Buddy, like I've had a sore lower back because I have to bend down every 30 seconds to, to pat him or move him away from something or pick him up or so I'm starting to get a sore lower back. But I'm so thankful for the sore lower back because I know that that's my body healing and mending and doing all of the things that she needs to do. So I'm really, really thankful for that. But I think that there's a massive, massive, massive opportunity for counsellors in private practice to move into the space of body acceptance rather than, focusing on weight loss and healthy lifestyles and things like that have kind of been done to death. I think things are changing a lot now, and it's not just you've got to be skinny and you've got to be size 10 and, all of this. I think times are changing, and if you wanted to have a profitable private practice, health and wellness, in this sense of the word, is always booming. And I think that you wouldn't go too far wrong if you decided to add this string to your bow. Just an idea. And if it's something that sparks your curiosity and lights your fire, then I think absolutely go for it. Now, in saying that, you would be competing against weight loss coaches, but again, you're not going to be focusing on weight loss. You're going to be focusing on non-weight loss, like accepting your body. And by the way, there is somebody who is really, really, really good at advocating for this, and she's a wonderful proponent for this. And if you wanted any inspiration, I would definitely recommend you go and check out. I follow her on Instagram. What's her name? Sammy Rose. That's her name on Instagram. Sammy Rose. I'll just see. Hang on, buddy. I'm just getting my phone because I don't want to lead you astray here. Because I want to give you the right. Oh, music coming on now. Where is she? Now I've just liked something I didn't mean to like because I've only got one hand. Sammy, where is she? Yeah, so it's Sammy Rose, SAMIROSE. Okay. Sammy Rose. It says counselor and coach, body image, stuff like that. So she's really good at body image and self-acceptance. But you might get some inspiration from her. I only know her because she's the one that I'm following at the moment, but I'm sure there are others doing similar work. So they're, 2 or 3 different areas or different directions that I see trending, or, well, they're not trending yet. They're my predictions for trends over the next, say, 12 to 24 months in private practice. So if you're just starting out, maybe think about them. If you're already in private practice and you're, thinking of pivoting, maybe you want to look at, does any of this stuff relate to my existing clients? If so, how? Maybe even change up some of your messaging, things like that. So hopefully, this is going to help you. And hopefully, you got some value out of this episode today. So 3 areas that I'm predicting are going to boom in private practice. And let's revisit this podcast episode in 12 months or 24 months and see whether or not my prediction was correct. I'm pretty sure it will be. But I'd love to know, your thoughts as well. And this is the thing, isn't it? Like, sometimes you can have a niche because the niche finds you. Sometimes you have a niche because you feel called to it. But other times there's a niche because there's a business opportunity. And so it's just something to think about as you put your business head on. Now, what else did I want to say? Oh, I just wanted to say amazing job to some of the ladies in Private Practice 101. Somebody else this week opened her private practice to clients, and just so happy for her. And she was saying in our group that she was super excited too because clients were booking future sessions with her. So that was really, 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 really lovely. And then somebody else, I think I mentioned before about the brochure template that I made them. Somebody else used that brochure template and she got them printed off and they looked so good. Well, now she's gone and made a huge banner based on that template and it looks amazing. It's a vertical banner so that when she goes to expos and things like that, she can just pop it up. So yeah, everything is happening and it's just so lovely to see people move through Private Practice 101. They come in often because they want to start a private practice, or they're students, they're still studying and they're like, oh, I don't want to overwhelm myself with, setting up a private practice and studying. But they don't. It's not overwhelming at all to be in PP 101. In fact, there's loads of support and it's all self-paced. So you just go at a pace that suits you. And then there was somebody else in the group who completed all three certificate courses in PP 101 and claimed, I think it was 9 PD points for her ongoing professional development. So it was a huge week in PP 101 this week. Lots to celebrate. And lots to celebrate in Marketing with Soul as well. One of the lovely members in Marketing with Soul was celebrating that, she opened her business and she was paying herself. So that is so, 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 so good, because that's what we want, isn't it? You want not much point doing this if you're not paying yourself. It was really inspiring to see that and just seeing the success of everybody who comes into these memberships. It's so inspiring. I just had to share it with you. And also, I'm really excited for a lot of them because they're learning how to build their audience at the moment. And so today I surprised them with a bonus training on how they could do that for $3 a day using Facebook ads. And the whole training was about 12 minutes long. I've just kept it super simple because I thought to myself, well, if I was going to have training on something like this, what would make it easy? And I thought, no fluff, just get down to it. So that's what I did. It was just no fluff, roll up your sleeves, guys. Here we go. We're going to do this right now. So that's what it was. And I gave them a little template they can use as well for their Facebook ads. So I'm really excited to see how they go with this. And I'm really excited because they just keep building their confidence. Anyway, that was good. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you as well. So I hope that you have a really good think about your niche and about opportunities for growth within it. And maybe some of these ideas we've discussed today will inspire you. You might not like the actual ideas, but they might spark something else that you feel really aligns so well with you. And yeah, join me in celebrating the milestones that all these other members are making in some of the other memberships. It's so much fun. So much fun. Okay, have a really, really wonderful day. If you can hear snoring, it's just Buddy. He's fallen asleep and he's snoring in my arms. Bless his little cotton socks. And Buddy and I will see you during the week on the next podcast episode. Thanks so much for listening. Bye. I hope that you loved this episode as much as I loved putting it together for you. To get more resources to help you in your private practice, head over to Instagram. My handle is @theprivatepracticecoach. And also, if you want more inquiries and referrals for your business, let me know. I have a program called Clients on Demand that opens every quarter, and I can absolutely get you some information for that as well. You are doing an amazing job. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. Bye.